50 summoners, hundreds of group stage matches, 45 single elimination matches. 2 champions arose from those tournaments, all pointing to this moment. 14 summoners fight for the right to be called the VBC's one above all. Welcome to Vega's Battleworld.
What is going on, everybody? How are you all doing out there? We're here for the kickoff match of the Battleworld. They had to qualify for this one, as the intro just shows you, explained, as you saw. We've had 50 summoners throughout this, 3 tournaments, 2 won by FinTech, 1 by Legacy. So many competitors going through the grueling group stages. Then the knockout stage, they've all been ranked. The formula was come up by and implemented by none other than our stat man, Adam. And we came up with 16 top summoners. A few are unable to participate, one of which I have on call with me today to educate us, to inform us, to be the co-host, none other than Mr. Nah. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm doing really good. I'm excited for this. And that intro looked really cool.
So for those who don't know, that is White Mummy. Follow him on Twitter. The link is in the description. Go and tell him, dude, thank you so much for doing this. So many of those cool intros, graphics, things, those videos you see out in the community on Twitter, that is him. That is frequently him. He has a tremendous Twitter follow. I am grateful for all of the graphics and intro work he's done for my channel. And then also, if you like the logo, if you like that Battleworld graphic we got down there and some of the other graphics I used throughout the VBC, MCoC, phenomenal to work with. If you're looking for graphic work, go check them out. The link is also in the description for that. Phenomenal. I'm grateful to have MCoC as someone I can work with. It's an absolute pleasure and makes my streams and graphics look phenomenal. All right, so here we are. I'm going to kind of do away as much as I can with the overall seedings because these are the top 14 players, right? There's folks like yourself and Campo who, for personal reasons and nerd, chose not to participate, could not participate. But these, I mean, you make it to this stage, you're just legitimately one of the best players in the world. So I think at this point, we're dealing with the number 1 seed in this group of D, and the number 3 seed in Andrew. Group D. Nick has experience having been in all 3 of these tournaments. He's a longtime streamer, phenomenal channel. I think he used to play in front of a crowd and all of that. Andrew's new to this, right? But you and I both know Andrew. I've been in alliance with Andrew. You've been friends with him for a long time. You look at the end of the season in-game leaderboard, he's frequently up there. How do you think this all balance out today? Like, what are your thoughts on this group and on this matchup in particular?
I think Andy's going to settle in. They faced each other last tournament and it went 7, I'm pretty sure. And like you said, Nick has been doing this for a while and Andrew could have gotten nervous. Who knows? But it's going to be really good. And if I had to bet, if somebody aside from Lags or Finn wins this, I would bet on Andy. He is good.
Yeah. I mean, he's phenomenal. I said this every tournament and I've meant it every tournament. This one, you double down, triple down, whatever term you want to use for it, they are all amazing. They're all amazing. And since I've watched all of these, I've commentated on all of them. Now, I know you've seen a ton of them. I know viewers, I know you've seen them. But you almost see personalities. It's so strange. In a game we play on our phone, it's a tap, tap, swipe, swipe game. You start to almost see personalities develop. One of the things Campo pointed out was that DLL is like the tactician in Group B. He might dismantle his opponent over the course of 7 rounds. I think we see that Yusafa is I analogize him to the guy that owns the yacht, but he doesn't hire a driver because he knows how to drive the yacht himself. No, I mean it, right? And I want to see Nick to me is like a knife through hot butter, right? He often runs that recoil and he just comes at his opponent and his opponent doesn't even know what happened. And all of a sudden the round's over and he's won. And he's like, I'm advancing. I hope you enjoyed that experience. And he hasn't had time for me to see that develop. And I really want to see if that develops in this tournament. This one's a little shorter, a little smaller, only 3 competitors in each group. 1 will advance from each group. I see the questions about the bracket, so that's why I'm explaining this. 1 will advance from each group, right? And then, yes, Legacy and FinTech, playing along with the themes of all of this and a lot of it. They have been anointed almost like they are my heralds. They have secured advancement into the knockout stage already due to their performance throughout the rest of this first season. They are the number 1 and 2 seed. They are already there. Maybe later in the stream, we can bring up the actual bracket if there's some more questions on it. And then because 2 additional players from this group stage will advance, that's where Lags and Finn will come into play. In the group stage, they will help determine that probably through swipe to swipe combat. Thank you for enjoying that dad joke. Yeah, man, I'm so pumped. I was up at like 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday because I was so excited for this matchup. It looks like they will be getting started soon. So also keeping this in the way we do things around here. This tournament is, like I said, this is the culmination. All the tournaments were important. This was the culmination event. You had to qualify for, and in keeping with that, we're not just doing bans, folks. We're not just doing bans like we did for other tournaments. This isn't the Grandmasters Cup where we had a different Grandmaster make their bans. This isn't the 3-star where it was just completely up to the players. This one, the theme for this week 1 is called Free Will. The number 1 seed in this matchup is Nick. Was able to choose 3 champions to just ban completely from Andrew's deck. They are not allowed to be there, and they are one-way bans. Nick chose to ban Tigra, Hulkling, and Torch. You will not see those champions in Andrew's deck. He then had to inform Andrew of this, and Andrew was able to, in response, pick 2 bans that, again, go one way, choosing to ban Nick's Spot and his Ghost. I want to test their strategy, and I want to test their ability to go against each other, strategize against each other, and then also their ability to play multiple champions as we move towards crowning one of them the champion above all. Now, what do you think of those bans? If you had been competing, would you have enjoyed that, you think, or would it have been just a headache you didn't want to deal with?
I think I would have enjoyed it, depending on who I got banned against me. That's really what it comes down to. They're starting right now if you want to pause Nick's stream.
Thank you.
I do think that banning Torch for Andrew may have been a waste. I'm not convinced that he wouldn't have just banned Torch on his own. But that rank 5 Hulkling and the rank 5 Tigra, you got to get that out of here.
Their streams really are quite far off. This happens if they chose different latency and things like that. So I appreciate you pointing this out. Those of you who've watched these streams before, we'll do our best to time these up. And during the first few fights, I will adjust the aspect ratios on both screens. But wow, they really were quite a bit off from each other.
So he's gonna ban Tigra on his own volition, even though, see, that's the interesting part, because Nick got rid of Andy's Tigra, and now Andy has to ban Tigra. He doesn't really have a choice.
The idea here definitely was to kind of recognize the efforts and the accomplishments of the higher seeds. They earned it over the course of 3 tournaments, over the course of the whole season. So that was the intention here. I was curious to see how well it actually played out. And I think we're going to see that play out over the course of the whole week.
I'm really excited to see this Adam Warlock. I guess he didn't draft him.
Thank you for everyone in the chat who is here. I really do appreciate it. I apologize that we're not saying hello to everyone, interacting quite as much as possible. We really want to focus on this matchup. Know that we appreciate you being here. We will interact with the chat a little bit between the matchups. This will be a best of 7 with only 3 competitors in each group. I think that makes each matchup that much more important as opposed to 4 like we used to.
I am looking at the groups on the bottom right, and I'm very intrigued to see who comes out of each of them, because I do genuinely believe that every single person could advance.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good tournament, and we're kicking it off right now. So it seems like Andy's stream looks like it's jumping around a little bit. I can't really get a gauge.
Yeah, I'm going to have some difficulty with that. We'll just have to do our best on this because I've taken them both live. I think maybe every once in a while one of them, I can't think of the correct term, but You guys know what I mean. We'll get them. We'll do our best to keep them lined up. And thank you, Not for helping me stay on top of it. Chat, we are looking at it. So if it gets off, let us know too.
It's kind of fun sometimes whenever it's a little bit off and someone finishes and you get like that tension for a couple seconds and you don't know who's going to end up coming out on top.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll pause next to get these lined up a little bit better for you. And then it looks like I got to adjust those aspect ratios. You can tell the different devices people play on and things like that. It takes a little bit. All right, here we go.
So Nick's running, they're both running recoil, which makes sense. I know you were describing Nick that way, but I do think Andy is very similar. And that he benefits a lot from recoil decks.
All right, I think we got some nice aspect ratio screens orientation. Let me know if you guys see something I don't. Yeah, we got Shang-Chi doing massive damage. Looks like, a mistake up top, though. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, he would have killed him right there. And then now, if Hulk throws another special, he might get to 15 rage and he goes immortal.
Yeah, Andy needs to end this fast. It looks like he's at 14, and he did. He went immortal exactly like you said. That one mistake, not only going to cost him some health, now costing him time, which was where he did have the advantage still, and he's lost that.
Yeah, and Diablo's going to finish at full health, and Rintro's just going to melt right here.
So I have a question for you on this. Do you think this is intended? It appears as though, to me, poison is reducing the heals or affecting it, let's say. And the way I read the node, that wasn't supposed to be happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of different nodes in the game. I've noticed that try to stop healing in that way, like aren't able to get reduced by different versions like Petrify, Spectre, or whatever. Conduit's an example of it that you don't think about as particularly being about heal reduction. I think it's just like snuck through. I don't know. I actually like it because it helps open up some science champs that otherwise would not have been a part of it.
Yeah.
Like I-Bomb and Scorpion. And the science class gets hurt a lot in a bunch of different metas. So anything that benefits it, I'm not really opposed to it.
Interesting. All right, so now we've got Kate Bishop. Let's keep an eye on this. I think the perfect release and whether he's able to pull that off. I'm curious to see if Nick even tries to slow down time. I know I'm practicing landing the perfect release without even slowing down. Here he goes for his first one. He does slow it down. That didn't look like it took that much longer. I think it might be worth just slowing it down to make sure you get the perfect release.
I agree. I know that one of our top competitors, FinTech, doesn't slow it down because, of course, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I think a good thing to practice is figuring out when to slow it down. Like if you can slow it down in that last, there's 3 different parts of the special. If you can only slow it down during the last one, you'll be in good shape. But man, Kate just ran through that.
Yeah, Kate's a monster. I think if Andy can end this in the special too, because no, he's just not going to be able to. I think time.
Mm-hmm.
I think time's going to make it so the health advantage won't matter.
Nope. Just barely. Actually, it wasn't even that close.
No. I've never claimed to be good at math. I have never claimed to be good at math. That's
Kitty,
awesome.
When you get recoil on, Kitty is a different beast.
Also true. I love that they both have the face cams up. You all know that I love that. Speaking of FinTech, one of the heralds earned, and that's the margin here that's separating the champions. Like you just saw, it ended up being almost 2,000 points, but the margins are so tiny. And I think getting those 0.2, 0.3 seconds is something that a player like FinTech is looking for and uses that to create his own advantages, right? These skills, as we often say, are earned. You didn't just wake up a good MCoC player.
Penny versus Herc is really interesting.
Yeah, well, she's going to be able to keep up that heal block, right? So part of the problems of the node, I think, will not be a challenge due to her kit, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah, but because of all the reparrying and stuff, you're going to lose your shield pretty quickly.
Yeah. And either way, they're going to have to deal with immortality, right? I don't think Kitty or Penny obviously handles Nick's second life, but she doesn't handle immortality. I don't think I've ever done Penny versus her.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Andy's got a rank 5 ghost, and he's super comfortable with her, so I'm not surprised that this is going super quickly. It shows what kind of player he is, though, because Herc does have a miss counter, and he isn't even struggling.
You know what, though? I think I'm wondering about this. Okay, it looks like he's still going to win, he being Andrew. Why didn't he throw his SP3?
I think because of time, because then you have to go through the whole animation. If he had the striker right there, which he did, I think he wanted to bet on being able to combo Herc fast enough to where it would have paid off more than throwing the special 3.
I'm really curious on the time on that. I can see the names in the chat. I know we have a lot of extremely smart players. Okay, Thinterceptor's already saying SP3 is too slow. Saved a few seconds. Okay, so Ghost SP3 animation is longer than Herc's immortality, in essence, is what we're saying there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Which I'm actually not sure if that's the case. No, but I think he already committed at a certain point.
Yeah, once Herc goes into immortality, a few seconds go by. That's like, in war where you accidentally parry and then you then go to punish even though you're late, and then Limber kills you. It's like once the initial decision is made, stick with it, right?
Mm-hmm. And it paid off. I mean, he got the win. He took round 1.
Zach, I appreciate the donation, and I am going to put that up right now. I apologize we didn't get that up a little earlier.
Chaos said throw it at 5% instead. It's interesting because if it didn't kill, then you don't have that safety net, and then Herc's got above a bar of power, and he can throw it and pause it with his special ones.
These are the margins we're talking about, right? Andrew, I think handled that like cool as a cucumber there. I think also probably having a little bit of faith in his own Herc, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what we saw there. It's all calculated risks. It's like we're talking about FinTech, making sure he's got nailing down Kate's SP1 perfect release without having to slow down time. These are the margins.
Yep.
I'll take a second to say hello to the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I see Thinterceptor, FinTech, Misty K, Mr. Omega Beast. I hope Choco is doing well, my friend. That is a worthy thing you are doing. I believe I pronounced the name right with Choco. That was a very, very cool post you put up this morning. Odysseus, Vast, Lord Gara, my fellow America Chavez enthusiast. Sarah, Odysseus, I'm just saying names now. Chaos Limits, PDubs, .MCoC, Falobi, and Zach Richards. Thank you for your understanding. All right, any change up in the bans you see? Now, remember, everyone, the both competitors, they are allowed 2 deck changes. They want to change their whole deck, that's fine. They want to change 1, that's fine. 2, whatever, you get it. And they're also allowed 2 mastery swaps. And they're also allowed a couple 3-minute breaks within all of this, right? This is important. I want to get this right. I'm interested in the view and experience, making sure that you all have a good time here too. But I want to make sure our competitors have a great time and they are able to do all the things they need to do. So keep an eye on this. I have a feeling we might start to see deck and mastery changes come into play. While I was doing all that talking, did you happen to notice, did they change their in-game bans at all?
Yeah, Nick started banning Ghost, which makes sense because it's a rank 5 Ghost with recoil masteries.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to go away. Other than that, I think Andy is staying firm with CGR, Torch, and Tiger. So, I don't know. It looks like Nick wants to switch it up. He didn't like how that went. And because even in the first round, I think Andy has it if he doesn't make that mistake versus iHulk.
Yeah, that's true. That mistake cost him a lot, right? Not only the health, he lost the 20 to 30% health, but then as you pointed out, it wasn't just the cost of taking a combo, it was the time cost of Hulk then going immortal. So that was significant.
Mm-hmm. And
sorry.
yeah.
Vast is obviously a Nick fan. And if you're not, you should be a Nick fan. If you're not already a Nick fan, go subscribe to his channel, watch his streams. Pretty sure you'll be a Nick fan within a few days, if not immediately. Yeah, Nick banning ghosts does feel weird, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Sometimes you just got to ban the bigger gun.
Yeah, exactly.
So Andy's doing Rupture versus Mephisto here. Poison does prevent the healing, but Mephisto's going to heal a lot. I think to counteract that, you've just got to benefit off of the recoil that Mephisto's about to deal with. He's going to be losing 5% every single special attack, and all that power gain. I think he might have this.
These both feel like unideal matchups, given the node, right? I mean,
yeah, but I think Joe has so many debuffs that enough sneak through. And here comes a big special too, man.
Holy cow. Look at the damage from Joe.
He timed that perfectly because Wrath just came on. And he's going to get some life steal and finish at full health. Even if Andy finishes right here, I think Nick easily has that.
Yep.
Wow.
For those of you who, I believe, you've heard me say this before, and like I said, hopefully you already are a fan of Nick's channel. All the links to every competitor is in the description of all these streams. Go check them out. But Nick also, about a week ago, maybe it's 2 weeks now, put out a video on Joe Fixit's signature ability, and it helped me understand Joe Fixit significantly better. He's always been a bit of a mystery to me. Nick took the time to really explain the signature ability and how to play him better. And it put the whole kit into better perspective for me. And you just saw it. So if you're like, how did Joe Fixit do that? I pulled him as a 7-star. Is he good? Go check out Nick's video. Could not recommend it more.
He's one of my favorite creators.
Yeah, Nick's phenomenal. Sarah, don't have time to do the full thing. It felt like a no. But Nick even did a video comparing his 6-star Joe Fixit with the SIG, with the 7 without it. I really take 15 minutes of your day and check those out if you're interested. All right. So, and now we've got Moondragon.
Ooh.
Moondragon versus Carl. Everyone knows how difficult Carl can be to fight.
I think one big problem of this is if he does go into magma form, all of those energy vulnerabilities aren't going to matter because his energy resistance is so massive.
And he just pushed Carl over towards power. But if he punishes this heavy, he's got to punish it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I guess he's going to stick with it. I think he's going to hope for the big special 2 payoff and not really care about everything else, which I think is smart. Yep.
This is a race to finish. I think Andrew's going to come out on top.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's close though. Oh man, that was good. You want to get excited for a new champ? I mean, look at that.
I just did my Battlegrounds rankings tier list, and the overall one's coming out tomorrow. And Moondragon with both of them, I gave like kind of what I'm seeing. Nagase's been putting out phenomenal videos on her. And I fully admit it, I'm like, I'm a little bewildered right now with her. Like she is vastly superseding what I expected. And and as a result, I'm not sure. I thought she was going to be a bit more specialized, maybe even niche. And I do not believe that Carl fits her niche.
He definitely does not. I will say that I feel like the reason she went under the radar is because she came out next to Adam Warlock and 7 stars.
Yeah.
And even Adam Warlock played second fiddle to the 7-star release. So
that's a good point. Now we're going to see Omega Red versus Omega Red. I guess this is the guaranteed crits of Mole Man versus the power of Omega Red when running recoil.
Yeah, but because of masochism, it doesn't really matter that the other Omega is running recoil.
Yeah.
So Andy can lock in the spores, back off, and then keep doing damage. But if you don't lock him in like he didn't right there, you've got to restart pretty much everything.
And he obviously doesn't know how the other fight's going. Nick has obviously made a little bit of a mistake. We saw I couldn't tell if it was an intentional. I don't know why you would use the heavy to move closer. So it looked to me like just kind of a heavy, the short heavy of Mole Man coming into play there, and then mistake taking some damage. I'm sure Andrew doesn't love being pushed to the SP3, or is this like a finishing move?
He's actually going to heal a little bit. Okay. And so even if it doesn't finish him off right here, he's going to power drain him and heal. And maybe he feels like this Mole Man's going to take a while and he can reset in a better position.
I think those few mistakes are going to end up coming back to hurt Nick here. I think just those few mistakes, because he obviously won on time.
Yeah. I'm pretty impressed that Mole Man got Nimrod down that quickly, though. But that's 2-0 to Andy. But if I was Andrew, I would not feel comfortable right now.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, so many of these matchups have been 1,000 points or less, and each round or each set has been 2-1. Take another second to say hello to more people who've been speaking in the chat. Someone showed up just as I was finishing last time. I'd like to try to go back. Michael, what's up, buddy? Thank you so much for being there. Hira, what's going up? What's going on, I mean? Cairo, what's up, buddy?
Marcel's
here. What's up, Marcel? How you doing, bud? McLinks. There you are, dude. Jason and Jabari. What's up, Jay Will? Judah, Tom, Jarvis. Manuel, how you doing, bud? Why did Magma not stay on? I don't know. I did not see. Did Absorbing Man lose his Magma form early?
Yeah, but I don't know what that's about, actually. Maybe he was just already losing his form through most of it.
Got it.
I'm unsure. I'll keep an eye out on that next time that happens. But it looks like Nick banned Shang-Chi. You want to get rid of that. Same as Ghost. And he still has Jessica banned, but he is leaving Valkyrie open now. So maybe he'll take Jessica off next.
Looks like we have actually McLean's raid. Thank you, McLean's, for bringing so many of your fans over. What a passionate, awesome crowd. Crazy Cat Player, Vinicius. And Misty K is explaining what happened there with Moon Dragon versus Carl and the form. Thank you for explaining that, Misty. Enrique, what's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. This has been interesting because one of the hesitations for me on the ban situation that I set up was, am I taking away too many players or too many champions? And I think we're finding out the answer was no. That these competitors are so good, they have other options.
Absolutely. And it's honestly been fun to see someone like Joe Fixit drop a 90K special too.
Yeah, it is. I know sometimes we can be like, oh, I guess it wasn't big yellow numbers out of Joe. But I got to tell you, I like my big yellow numbers.
Oh, absolutely. It's something, the dopamine hit, you know. Gallon has big red numbers, and I don't get dopamine from that. If it was yellow, like Rentro Special 2, I'd be like, this is my favorite character.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to get to see Moon Dragon again. Oh, no, he switched. Next playing with the audience, playing with the announcers in the audience.
Kitty can get through Sasquatch very quickly, but rank 4 Black Widow Deadly Origin is another nasty one.
So what's funny is, again, I put up the tier list, and a couple people commented, well, we'll talk about it in between matches. Let's focus on this match.
Cool. I think one thing to note is Black Widow Deadly Origin has some of the highest damage per second in the entire game.
Yep.
And I think she may go undervalued comparatively, but because of recoil, Kitty's going to finish with full health, I assume.
He did decide to throw the SP1. That's necessary with the health pool of Sasquatch, I assume?
It definitely helps, and especially if he can get to this SP2 while Wrath is still going, I think he can kill right here.
Oh, you know what? I stopped watching the iHulk match because I thought it was over. That was another like 10 seconds there with iHulk sitting at maybe 3% health. 10 seconds might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it was a decent chunk.
And it's a lot of health difference right now. And I think Nick's about to take this right here. Yep.
Man. Look at that. Look at that.
Talk about big yellow numbers.
Absolutely. I love Kitty. I'm just not good enough to play with her like you all are.
I died to a juggernaut, so I don't know if I'm in that list.
Hey, he's the juggernaut. There's a reason why, he's the juggernaut. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
But yeah, Black Widow, the damage was there. That's the one problem of running a recoil deck is you're going to lose a lot if you don't get the right champions on attack. Ooh, Warlock.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. I think if Nick just plays this well, he has this right now.
Yeah, that felt like a check move in chess here a little bit, maybe even a checkmate, where Andrew just doesn't have a good option, right?
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm kind of surprised Nick is going with Diablo after that Moondragon fight.
Yeah, that was very impressive. Maybe he's assuming his Warlock defender's just going to do so well, go very safe. Obviously, if he doesn't make any mistakes, he's going to end up with 100% health probably with Diablo. So just kind of play it safe,
Oh, absolutely. The thing is, if Carl does refine, you're going to be blocking a ton. And if he crits into block, you might not have enough time to heal that back up.
Also true. Plus, there's that sneaky SB. The SB1 of Absorbing Man has caught me more times than I wish.
Oh, yeah. But he went with the SP1 pause, and that really paid off. That was a fast fight. But
yeah,
he's handled this Warlock way better than I thought he was going to be able to.
But true to your comment earlier, this is far from over. Nick is in this. And Nick just is like, I'm taking it 2-0.
I know you like to talk about momentum swings.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big one.
It is. Let's see how Andrew handles this. Because Andrew had won the first two. Obviously, everyone saw that. They were incredibly close. The matches were incredibly close. Nick, the veteran, knows what he's doing. Been in this situation before. Streams all the time for a very long time, for a long period of time now. And look at him; he's relaxed in that chair. I mean, he looks like a villain, just relaxed. Like all his plans are coming together. I mean, there's confidence oozing off of that right now. You can see it.
Mm-hmm. So let's see if they switch up the bans here. If Andy wants to switch it up after getting that win, I would not be surprised if he bans Diablo after those matches he got with him. How he's sticking with it.
I see the request for trying to get a little better stream quality on Andrew's side. That's just the best we're able to do. I think you can see we're at the highest ratio or what have you. Can't think of the proper term at the moment. And it's just the way it's even coming across on my screen.
One thing to say, though, he finally drafted Adam. He's smiling, too.
He's going to get to use his Adam. What's up, Ghost Dog? Thanks for being here. Resolution. Thank you. That's the term I was looking for, not ratio.
I'm curious if he puts Adam on defense or attack. I want to see him on attack, but he is not a fun defender, especially if Tiger's banned.
It's pretty incredible how many new champions we're seeing, right? Moondragon, Adam Warlock. There's Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang. Interesting for me to see Cassie Lang in this meta. I'd love to see her use. I haven't even tried using mine.
I fought one earlier on defense, and I did well, but I think she's still a pain on defense with that evade. So he's got Mephisto. Can't Juggernaut fight at him? He can, but because of the unblockable, counterpunching is going to hurt. You're essentially just using the unstoppable and taking something to the face. But here comes a MCoC. And Vega, you and I were talking earlier about 7-star MCoC in particular, but MCoC is a problem.
I don't know. 7-star man, obviously the 7 stars are very strong. I think we're all realizing that. I fought one recently, though. It was a 7-star. And the power gain was just, I don't know. It was more than what I thought or what I had been used to. So let's just kind of see how this goes.
Oh, he's using Adam Warlock for Mephisto.
Cosmic versus a Mystic who you know is running Mystic Dispersion, right? Or is Nick not because he's running Recoil?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. And Mystic Dispersion actually would benefit Andy right now because of all the recoil. But one thing to say is Adam, his buffs cannot be stopped. So here you go.
I'm finding myself just watching the Adam Warlock because it's the first time we're seeing him.
Mm-hmm. But he's taking a lot of aura damage.
Yeah. And then looks like a little mistake and uses the stasis pod. But it's not going to heal him back up, right? So
it's going to help him a little bit. I think what he's got to do is just hope for good RNG and kill with this special too. And Moondragon over here is just clawing away at it. He does become Incinerate immune with that green buff you see.
You know, a few seconds ago, I would have told you Nick had this easily. But it looks like a mistake's been made. MCoC's doing what we were saying. The MCoC has become a real thorn in my side. And I'm not happy to see other people having the same problem, but it does make me feel a little bit better.
Same.
Andrew's going to take this round, right?
I mean, yeah. I don't think there's any way that Nick can get a kill. Yep. The thing is with 5 out of 5 MD plus his natural power gain plus the combat power rate. I know this is a 6-star, but when you get to that 7-star, it just feels like he's constantly throwing specials. And he takes reduced damage from recoil, so it doesn't hurt that much to have it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I just essentially was, getting in a 3 or 4 hit combo, and he was already back to his special one. That was my experience fighting the man.
It's not fun. We dropped an I-bomb here, and I-bomb's just going to be healing the whole entire fight. So I'm wondering how Nick deals with that. I think he's going to have to go Scorpion, and he just I think Nick has this.
I mean, I-bomb's just going to be healing the whole match, right?
Yeah. And there's not going to be any way to stop it. But poison does reduce it, but still, it's not going to be enough.
No. And then I just put out the video today on my rank 5 Hulkling. He's been incredible. He's amazing already. And I had not gotten out a video on him since I took him to rank 5 a few months ago. Just been so busy. Yeah, it was mainly on Battlegrounds and how you can play him just so patiently. Sometimes the defender doesn't even get to throw a special. Obviously, that's not going to happen here with Nick against Nick Fury. Really nice intercept by Nick136 there.
Look up at the Scorpion versus I-bomb right now.
What just happened?
That damage did a lot. Oh my gosh.
I was not even watching the Scorpion versus I-bomb because I thought I-bomb would just be healing the whole time.
Yeah, me too.
I think Nick's going to be very surprised when he sees this.
That was as perfect of a Hulkling versus Nick you can have. Wow.
I'm not great at reading lips, but I'm pretty sure Nick136 just said wow when he saw the score. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so remember how we were saying I was curious how Andrew would handle set 4. I think we just got our answer. Holy.
Yeah. He punched right back. He got hit in the jaw in round 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's the thing, Laser. I think Nick is playing exceptionally well. You place I-Bomb in this meta, you are not expecting that. I know I wouldn't.
That was crazy. I mean, yeah, Scorpion is the best science champ. Especially when you get recoil going, the way that power sting and special 2 damage scales is ridiculous. But I thought he would have more trouble than 36 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be able to handle the healing. There's clearly something about the node that I'm not understanding, because I actually removed Scorpion from my deck. And I think I've only lost once so far. I haven't had a lot of time to play a ton, but yeah. I want to take a second to say hello to Joey's here. And then, of course, channel supporter extraordinaire, OG Highline. How you doing, buddy? ATR, I like that. I'll ask Andrew about it, how he feels about ATR, but I do like that a lot. And thank you for the generous donation at the end of the last stream. I hope you can see we did put that up here on this one, like I told you we would, because we were signing out when you made that donation. Laser, I now understand the wordplay. Very clever. You know me. I love that. Nick is having a rough time for sure. I get it now. Sorry for being so slow earlier. What's up, Doug? Thanks for being here, buddy. In full lobby. Scorpion apparently is the GOAT. I should end the poll. I don't know why I still have the poll running.
Is Scorpion a good champ? Are we still litigating that?
That was tournament 1, right? Where that was the meme. Is Scorpion good? All right, Nick has to win this. He has to, otherwise it's over. Goes down 0-1 in a group with Karate Mike. No one wants to be in that spot. That's the nature of this tournament, though. All these players are outrageously skilled.
3-1 is not a safe lead.
No, also true.
I'm really curious what's going to end up happening here. This may be the first time we see Gallon. Yeah. I don't think Gallon is that good for this meta. I mean, he's like baseline good.
Yeah.
But his scores are going to be lower because, I mean, all the damage scales with base attack. So you actually have a worse version of Gallon when you're running recoil.
That's true. Would you mind explaining that just a little bit more? I think most of our chat probably knows exactly what you're saying, but just in case there's people who don't.
So all of the harvest damage that Gallon has off of his special attack only scales with the base attack value he has. He doesn't get the 60% increase that most other champions get. So instead of just, being the Gallon we all know, which finishes nearly full health and in 50 seconds, it's going to be a Gallon that has to throw multiple special attacks, take the bleed and poison damage, and he'll finish around the same time, but he's going to lose a lot of health while having to do it.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. I am now no longer going to take my eyes off a screen if Scorpion is in there. I'm refusing to do it. I've made that mistake too many times.
I think this one's actually going to be worse off because he's going to be stuck with a lot of weakness debuffs.
I have to say, there's something the healing that Scorpion's getting is due to willpower, to the 2 debuffs that are on him, correct? It's not from his own Petrify?
Yes. Man.
This is just
This
amazing.
is going to make me rank 4 Scorpion when the stream ends.
Yeah. I've clearly made a big mistake removing Scorpion from my deck. If there's one takeaway from this, for me, it's that I have chosen poorly.
And that's the thing about these these players, they're going to stick to their guns.
Yeah.
If Andy wants to use Scorpion, he's going to use Scorpion. He's going to make it work. The reason Andy isn't using the Rupture is because he's not going to be able to have the Petrify that makes him heal and makes those Ruptures scale like crazy. So I think he went with Shock instead. Maybe out of comfort, maybe just because he did that to I-Bomb and its muscle memory, but the Rupture would not get that much of a benefit compared to normal.
This is amazing because, earlier I analogized Nick to a hot knife through butter. it just dismantling before your opponent even knows what's going on. The match is over, and I feel like we're seeing that being done to him a little bit right now.
Yeah. They're very similar players, and that's why the scores have been so similar with a lot of the same champs.
But that's, I think, part of the mentality of these tournaments where we go best of 7 and things like that is reminding yourself that the matches themselves have been incredibly close. You're down 2-0, but it's all been close, you know? Nick's doing a nice job against this MCoC, though.
Yeah, and on paper, Kitty is a great Korg counter, but when you get bad AI versus a Korg, you are going to have a hard time. I do think he's about to finish this off here.
Yeah, as long as he gets this SP2 off right now, which he did, and that's the ball game.
Yeah.
And he gives the peace sign. He knows it. He knows it. You see him. He's celebrating to the crowd. That's the baseball player hitting the home run and just standing at home plate watching the ball fly into the outfield, right? Like, I think
bat flip.
Yeah, he just bat flipped. He's slowly jogging to first right now. You know, celebrating with the crowd. I do enjoy seeing it. I do enjoy seeing it.
And of course, Nick has a great round with 50K versus MCoC that we were just talking about. Being a hard defender. There's not much you can do when something like that happens. You just kind of have to take it. And the reason there's a group stage is Andy still has to face Mike, and Nick still has to face Mike. And I would not feel comfortable in this group.
No. And the thing is
just the beginning.
And to your point, and I appreciate you bringing it up, is neither of them has advanced and neither of them is out of it. 2 second place, let's call them for now, summoners will advance. You do not have to win your group to advance. 2 non-group winners will advance. No one's out. You know, let's switch. I can see Andrew has already joined the channel that allows us to kind of talk to the champions. If you don't mind, let's switch over to that and have a little chat with Andy and potentially Nick if Nick chooses to join.
All right.
Andrew, how are you, my friend?
Hello?
How you doing, buddy?
Is my audio on?
We can hear you, but I feel like you can't hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I guess if he can't hear us, me telling him he can't hear us probably
isn't going to be helpful.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
I'm just watching his reaction. He's doing that.
Yeah, he's kind of smiling at the screen. Gang hates. No, today there will not be more, but we do have one already scheduled for Monday. MP Blaze versus none other than McLinks himself, Marcelo, bringing along the Brazilian bald gang. It's going to be another awesome one. It's going to be another awesome one. And then the other 2 week 1 matches are being scheduled. It looks like they're probably going to be sometime next week. I'll do everything I can to get the schedule out as early as possible. Let people know, because I know it's fun to see live. That's, I think, the drama of esports and those sorts of things. So we'll get those out.
Can y'all hear me now?
We can hear you, my friend. Can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry. I always have audio issues when I start this.
All good. It is all good. I see. We saw the confidence. You know, you the first 2 sets you won 2-1. They were both outrageously close, though, right?
Yeah, they were insanely close. Nick, he doesn't leave like any room for error. Like,
no,
yeah.
he doesn't. And then Nick comes back and 2-0s you in the 3rd, and we commented like, this is where sometimes the momentum shifts happen. Let's see how Andrew responds to this. And I talked about this in the draft show, and he closed it out with 2 2-0s in a row.
Yeah.
Was there even any doubt in your mind, or were you? What was the mentality there after that 3rd set?
Yeah, I mean, after the 3rd set, like, I kind of just chalked it up to a bad draft. And I also made some gameplay errors, which I shouldn't have. And I figured, like, as long as I don't screw up again, then I'll be fine for the next couple of rounds. And I was. So, yeah, the confidence was definitely more there this time.
Yeah. That's great. I know you have been live streaming a bit more. Is that due to enjoyment, or is it for your channel? Or are you practicing for the tournaments? Let people know a little bit about what they can expect from a live stream from you.
Yeah, a little bit of all of that actually. I definitely enjoy live streaming. It's super fun. So I like to hop on now, and it's great practice just for this tournament specifically because when I play like last time when I played in your tournament, it was my first time like live streaming.
Yeah.
Like Battlegrounds, and it was a lot different from what I'm used to. Because I mean, the main thing for me is that the audio is different. Like when I live stream, I'm not sure if I'm doing it wrong, but I can't hear any audio. or if I do hear the audio, it's delayed because it's coming from the computer rather than my phone.
Yeah.
So just the not being able to hear the in-game sounds on time, that definitely throws me off a lot from what I'm used to because I play by sound a lot. Like if I can hear the parry, I know it sticks. But then like when you don't have sound, it really screws with you.
Okay, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Sorry for the side here, everyone listening. You know, Andrew, you're in 4 Loki, correct? The Alliance 4 Loki?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to leave that alliance, join an alliance with a lot of YouTubers who could help who could help you and answer some questions about how to set up a stream and work through those sorts of issues.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Like SSX, for example, maybe?
You know, I wasn't going to say it, but that would be a great one. I'm sure there's others out there, DSVGs, things like that. But yeah, SSX does have quite a few YouTubers who've had those sorts of issues and you know, years of experience. They could help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I was going to bite my tongue. I was not going to do that.
Well, you know, I'll definitely take that into deep consideration.
Yeah. I mean, 4 Loki has some up and comers. There's this guy, Jiu-Jitsu or something like that, and a young man with Laga, I think Laga something. They might be able to help you, but I don't know. It's hard to say. But in all seriousness, dude, that was a phenomenal performance. Adam Warlock, were you expecting that fight to go a little sideways when you went against Mephisto?
Yeah, a little bit. I've never fought Mephisto with Adam Warlock. I fought a lot of other mystics with him. Like he's super great for Doctor Doom, and because he can go like nullify immune, and he can just like his damage is stupid. So against Mephisto, I was gonna try to go incinerate immune because he can do that if you trigger the pod.
Okay.
But things went sideways a little bit. I ate a few combos which I wasn't planning to do, but he still pulled through in the end. So I think he can definitely do that match if you play it right. I played it wrong though.
Yeah. I mean, that happens. You and Nick both made very, very few errors. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask, Andrew?
How did you? So you started off the match with that Shang-Chi versus I-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel whenever that stun did not stick and you're throwing into the block?
Dude, that was like, as soon as I made that mistake, I was like, dude, I know I screwed it up. Because I threw the stun into the block, expecting to stun him. Then I threw my special 2 right away. But he shrugged the stun, he blocked the special 2, and then from there, I was like, dude, I'm done for. But
Well, you bounced back pretty immediately.
yeah. I mean, it was just a small error. I knew, like, I just need to keep in mind masochism because sometimes I'm just smashing and I forget. But yeah, I knew, like, if I keep that in mind for like the future rounds, I should be fine.
Mashing and then forget is pretty much the title of me this entire meta.
Yeah.
And one more, he started banning your Shang-Chi and then your Ghost after the Herc fight.
Mm-hmm.
It was, how did you feel having to lose 2 of your biggest weapons? I mean, clearly you handled it, but I think part of your game plan was using both of those.
Yeah, definitely. I crutch really hard on Shang-Chi, Ghost, Herc, and Kitty. At least I had Herc and Kitty for the next rounds. If he banned them, I might have been in a bit more trouble. But I mean, I still had enough attackers besides them to continue to like get through it. It might not have been like as optimal as I could have because like that's a rank 5 Ghost, but yeah. I have plenty of other champs I can work with.
And why'd you decide on recoil? I've seen both, and I think both work really well in this meta. But what made you decide it?
Well, last night actually, I was doing a whole bunch of friendlies with lags. I tried a deck without recoil, and I just got completely destroyed. But then as soon as I turned recoil on, I started to win a couple matches here and there. So yeah, like I've done both. I've played with recoil without it, and I think for me specifically, my deck is just a lot more suited for it. I know for some people it works better to not have it on. It really just depends on your attackers. But since I rank up a lot of suicide heavy champs, so that's why I went with it.
Makes perfect sense. It goes to show practice. That's how you figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, for sure.
Andrew, how did the ban experience work? Well, obviously, we tried something new. I had my hopes and intentions on how I was hoping it would work out. If you don't mind telling us a little bit, you were the number 3 seed, so you were having to respond. Nick initially sent you 3 bans that only worked one way, and then you got to. I was hoping it was to have a strategic response. How did that actually play out?
Yeah. It took a lot of strategy. Like when Nick told me my bans yesterday, it probably took me like at least an hour to. I was thinking about it like all day, just like who I want to ban. Then he told me he was gonna ban Tigra, Human Torch, and who is the third one? Hulkling, yeah. And Tiger and Hulkling are 2 of my rank 5s.
Okay.
So that hurt a lot. I use them like all the time in Battlegrounds. But I figured he has a rank 5 spot. I think his Ghost is rank 4. I was watching his streams. He's really good with Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So I took out Ghost and his spot. And I think those were the right calls because I know he crutches really hard on them too.
Yeah.
So you have to try to work around the additional bans, which I think it adds another element of like strategy to the whole tournament rounds because they can use the champs but you can't. So you have to pick someone who you use a lot, but then if you can take them out of their deck, then you can still use them. So yeah, that's why I went with Ghost, but he ended up banning Ghost anyway.
Yeah, we saw that, and then I'm getting my bans already confused, but I think Nal pointed out that one of you banned Tigra pre-match, and then the other of you ended up still banning Tigra, at least for a couple of matches in the game too. So it was kind of interesting to see how that played out.
Yeah.
So you this is the kickoff match, phenomenally well played to both of you. You've now taken a 1-0 lead, which, that's important, right? For the group winners of each group, the winner of each group will advance, automatic advancement into the championship bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Two summoners, though, will advance to, I'm calling it the Deadlands bracket, right?
Uh-huh. You
got to go up against Karate Mike. Yeah. Fellow officer in 4 Loki, one of the nicest people in the whole game. Mm-hmm. Like when you go up against him, is he just another player and you're going to crush him and tear his heart out, or you going up against your buddy Mike? Let us know a little about your thoughts as you head into that matchup now.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more lighthearted when I go against Mike. Like, I mean, I know a lot about like his deck, who he plays, and like who he's really good with. I'm definitely banning his Zemo 100%. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, but then I think it's gonna be fun. I'm not like super scared about it. Like I know he's a great player and he's gonna put up a really good fight. But I mean, I think I have a decent chance against him too.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, you've got to fight Karate Mike, but he's got to fight Andrew the Ruff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude.
All right, and OG Highline in my chat has nicknamed you ATR, so hopefully you like that. You and OG Highline could talk that through, but I thought that did sound pretty cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
It is. And Nod, did you have any other questions or anything from? Joey in the chat has asked, do you run Coagulate with your recoil masters?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're running recoil in Battlegrounds, you're gonna lose a lot of health from the bleed if you're not using bleed immune champs. So I would 100% recommend running Coagulate because if you lose too much health, you're going to lose a bunch of points, and that might be the difference between winning and losing. So yeah, I definitely run it.
Not any other questions from you?
Nope. Yep, that's it.
All right. Well, everyone, we'll be signing off here in just a second. I do want to thank Nick136 for putting on this show today. I think doing the kickoff match is incredibly hard. The meta has just started. So these competitors are still even just learning how the champions are interacting, how it's going to work. And he and Andy were brave enough to say, like, yeah, we'll do it early on a Saturday morning for you, Vega. So I'm grateful to both of them. Nick is the number 6 player entering this whole thing. I think this is definitely not the last we will see or hear from him. He played phenomenally today. Just ran into a buzzsaw, which is ATR. Andrew, the Ruff. Andrew, I'd like to let you and then Not take us out. Thank you so much for the performance you put on today, Andrew. Looking forward to seeing you in the next round.
For sure, yeah. Thanks for having me, Vega. Really appreciate you putting this together. It's always a blast with you. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next round. So yeah, catch you then.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. If you're still watching this, check out both Andy and Nick's channels. They make great stuff. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me on.
Listen to Nah. He's a smart man. Check out Andy and Nick. Phenomenal channels. You see the talent. You see the entertainment they put on. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody. We will see you Monday live for McLinks versus MP Blaze. Take care.